Could you please expand on this? What does it mean to be unequally yoked, and what type of a guideline should I have if it is okay for me to have a business partnership with a non-believer?
Well, this is a very, very important question. 2 Corinthians chapter 6 is what you're asking about. The concept of yoke gives you the key, I think. And you have to apply it yourself. I mean, there's no hard and fast rule. But a yoke was something that was put over two animals in a common enterprise. Okay? Now, what Paul says in 2 Corinthians 6:14 is, do not be bound together with unbelievers, for what partnership have righteousness and lawlessness? What fellowship has light with darkness? What harmony has Christ with Belial? What has a believer in common with an unbeliever? What agreement has the temple of God with idols? Now, what it's saying is, if you are in the same yoke, pulling the same plow down the same furrow, that is, you're working side by side in the same enterprise, and you're yoked together with an unbeliever, you got problems. Truly, that would refer to marriage, because there's no firmer, stronger, more binding yoke than marriage, right? If you go beyond that, you say, what about a business partnership? It would depend upon the nature of that partnership. I mean, if for example, there's a limited partnership in buying a motel, and there's 10 guys buying into this deal, and I'm one of 10, that's one thing, right? I'm investing. I might put my money in a bank. That's a form of partnership too with other people. I don't think that's the issue here. What is the issue here is linking up side by side under the same yoke, pulling the same furrow in the same direction. Now, that might mean a partnership in a common business where you're working side by side, because you're going to have problems. The obvious meaning here, the most obvious meaning, would be in some spiritual enterprise. I think that's the primary thing. The primary thing is, don't ever link up with an unbeliever in a spiritual enterprise. Does that make sense? People do it all the time, by the way. Strange enough. By taking money and involvement with unbelievers. But I also think the spillover. So the obvious thing, first of all, the obvious thing, no in marriage, because that's a believer and an unbeliever yoked. No in any common spiritual enterprise. And then secondarily, be very careful if you're pulling the same yoke down the same furrow in front of the same plow with an unbeliever. Because it's inherent that there will be conflict. Because the standard by which you operate is different. And you have to make that judgment as to what the partnership involves. Okay?
Thank you.
All right. The Spirit of God will lead you with that. Yes.